Hello, my name is Debbie Reynolds. They call me the Data Diva. Today I want to talk about the EU's Digital Services Act. The Digital Services Act is a piece of legislation that the EU is in the process of trying to implement. On December 2nd, the EU will put out their proposal for this act, which will be a replacement or update of the e-commerce directive that came out in the year 2000. A lot has changed in the last 20 years in terms of how companies deal with individuals and also the rise of the internet and a lot of services that are being handled by these companies. So part of this, the Digital Services Act, is to be able to take a look at gatekeepers. So that means really big tech companies that have a prominent position in the marketplace and be able to try to balance their dominance or their prominence in the marketplace with being able to have smaller players also be able to have some level of competition, which means that these corporations will probably have to change their business models in some way, shape, or form in that way. Also, some of the things that they're trying to address here have to do with having companies be more responsible about the spread of disinformation or misinformation, as well as giving individuals transparency into what they see and why they see it, either on the app or on the internet or any other service provider. This act is being called in some way, shape, or form like a GDPR 2.0. I think it's going to have a massive impact on internet. Any company that actually puts data on the internet and interacts with individuals, because part of it is that they want to have more transparency. They want to be able to have better competition with the smaller players. They also want to make sure that the visibility that is had about data is very clear. Also, these are issues that we're tangling with in the U.S. related to misinformation, relating to moderation of content on the internet. So not only how these companies deal with illegal content, but how they deal with quote unquote objectionable content and how that moderation happens. So the EU is in a position to put some meat and bones around what that means in terms of what fines or what rules that internet service providers and other companies have to follow when they are putting things on the internet and how they're interacting with individuals. So I think what's going to happen, it seems like, obviously this is going to get implemented probably next year. And also, I think it's going to cause a lot of other countries to really take a close look at this, because the issue of things like transparency, misinformation, disinformation, moderation of content on the internet, these questions are coming up all over the world. And as other countries see what's happening with the EU, they may actually take part and parcel of some of the things that are being enacted as a result of the Digital Services Act. So it remains to be seen what will happen with this. I think that a lot of countries, as I said, are looking very closely at what happens with this, because it can maybe change the way they do regulation, but also a lot of big internet companies are quite nervous because this will probably massively change their business models and the way that they handle data for individuals. That's it. Thank you.